This episode really made me appreciate of the credibility of the development of the crystal gems, because even if you may say that the stuff that they did really caused a lot of harm towards Steven as the series progressed, at the very least, they're literally doing what they can, considering that Rose isn't around, and judging of how we're getting close to the Amethyst and Pearl episodes, I really felt like that this is something that was easily set up for the sake of these Crystal Gems developments on having those centered episodes. In this episode, Steven is really disappointed of his mission in the Lunar Sea Spiral that he completely collapsed the entire thing due to his decisions, which leads to him wanting a newer test to make up for it, which the Crystal Gems accepted. So they made Steven to go through the courses of Amethyst, Pearl, and Garnet, but as Steven continued on and realized a huge hiccup, well, not really a hiccup, but actually an intentional hiccup that he can't get hurt no matter what, he's extremely upset and disappointed, but at the same time, they still don't know what to do with him by making the three chambers as easy as possible when they don't even know who he really is, mainly his human form. In all honesty, even though that the development of the Crystal Gems learned about human life has improved in later seasons, if there's one thing that I remember from how Steven was portrayed in the later seasons and the other characters while catching on didn't even bother to help out, is because they don't even know what it's like on being a human like Steven. And considering that these three characters, aside from Amethyst, don't eat or sleep or anything else, people either forgot about it or just focusing on other problems, which I understand. They probably watched these episodes once. Maybe for critics, they watched it multiple times, but when it comes to fans, they probably only watched it once or twice. But even during the second watch, they probably didn't pick up the pieces. Look, I'm not saying that the people who watched these episodes once or twice and not remembering a lot from them aren't smart, because for the knowledge that they have, they will probably see something that I don't. But for me personally, I really felt like that this episode in particular really showcased the foreshadowing of what the Crystal Gems are doing with when it comes to Steven being part human. If he was really full gem, then I'm pretty sure him being mostly upset in future for not going to school wouldn't even work as a gem, because as far as I'm concerned, it would be a lot more predictable to see a creature who is not human go to school and he's different from everyone else. It's not that type of plot that would really work for Steven Universe. Besides, when it comes to the chambers, each one is unique from the other, and knowing full well that this is mainly a way for Steven to improve himself, but at the same time, if this happened way later on in the series, then there would have been a reason on the Crystal Gems challenging Steven, but I don't think that's really part of their characters. But the point is that with these three chambers being rigged for the sake of Steven going through them all, I have to admit, it usually happens towards me when I was a little kid, where my brothers usually rig it in order to make it easier for me, because as far as I'm concerned, there was really no chance for someone like me or others who have a chance against them if it wasn't rigged to begin with. And when it comes to Steven recognize all this, it's also a good follow-up to Warp Tour. With the Crystal Gems following up on Steven sawing something that they don't believe him, and the fact that they're willing to help him out despite rigging the chambers, you can honestly feel for them, because as far as I'm concerned, they just don't know how to handle the situation of having Steven being a human. Regardless of them being neglectful, keep in mind when you're going to have characters in a show that are a different creature, not human, and are neglectful, it's mainly executed fine when it comes to their kind not being the same as humans. Because as far as I'm concerned, If it was the other way around, there would have been more of a reason onto why Neglectful shouldn't be ignored, but that pretty much sums up onto why the neglectful nature from the Crystal Gems have been ignored a lot until people, or critique people, were picking up the pieces of the issues that they found on their own from these characters from Steven Universe. And to tell you the truth, the moments where they come together with Steven, it's wholesome like before, but at the same time, that's literally what they can do on handling on the fact that Rose or Pink Diamond has turned into Steven. And to tell you the truth, knowing full well that Pink Diamond's motivations is really one of the reasons onto why people have been going against this show due to the plot twist in the single pair roles, the way I see it, it really feels like that in the earlier seasons, they were intentionally trying to showcase that this show isn't all about happy nature and whatnot. And considering that My Little Pony is like that when it comes to Friendship is Magic, this show being TVPG really shows that it's taking a step on taking these elements seriously. Now, yes, I understand that Friendship is Magic has dark moments, but in comparison to Steven Universe, there isn't a lot of limitations. I'd enjoyed this episode when I first watched it, and rewatching it now after watching all the episodes with knowledge that I remembered when it comes to Pink Diamond, that is, it's honestly a lot more better, mainly the fact that this is one of the episodes that actually aged better over time. And as far as I'm concerned, even if people may agree with me or not, it really shows that Rebecca Shoko had everything planned, even if it may be for the wrong reasons when it comes to X fans. I'm giving this episode a 7.25 out of 10.